You're tuned in to Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk, live every weekday on the Nation Network YouTube.
Last night, the Oilers lost to not one, but two groups of men wearing black and white. Huh? Let's get into it with the lead. But really, it's not funny, is it? It's no laughing matter. We're going to get serious. Welcome into Oilers Nation every day. As always, coming to you live from the Sports Closet studio, which is feeling a little tense today. Everyone in the office here at Oilers Nation, a little on edge, a little pissed off, and they should be. Sportscloset.ca, load up. I know I'm going to stop it and load up before we head down to Vegas. Got to make sure I'm looking my best when we're cruising down the strip as a team. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. But last night was not a ton of fun. We need to dig into this hockey game, and my boy Liam is here. You were on Oilers Nation After Dark last night, a stream that went, and producer Aaron was as well. So shout out to him for both of you guys working late and working early. I love it. That was a fired up chat. You were fired up. You were mad.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be incredibly frustrated after what we all stayed up very late to watch last night, and the Oilers, I'm not sure they ever showed up to LA, to be honest. Like, it was just so disappointing, and it felt like a certain, like, almost hit a wall, I guess is a good way to put it. Like, it was just, it's disappointing to kind of see where this team is at right now, and the effort after going down 2-0 early was unacceptable, quite frankly, and we have so much to talk about today. Like, the fact, like last night you said, like, the after dark, we went till almost 12:30 in the morning, and there was like 90 people conversation talking about it. So I'm sure today should be a fun one.
Well, like, let's just go through the last week or 10, 12 days here around this team. They blow out Seattle 7-2 on the 30th. And you're like, all right, momentum. Entering a big stretch of hockey games. This is where it starts. The next night against Winnipeg, they get goalied. And you're like, hey, they've now played two really good games back to back. Better team, both games. And then you go up 2-0 on Seattle. And it's like, giddy up. This is the start of what we were waiting for. This team's going to get hot. And then they take their foot off the gas. They got that little bit of like, whoo, we're feeling like our old selves. This shit's going to be easy.
Yep.
And they got a quick reminder that it's not in the NHL. Go out against the Islanders. We heard there was the players-only meeting before that, everything. And it's like, okay, let's play with some emotion. And they did. We highlighted. The goal celebrations were great. They came out of the gates quick. They played good defensively. They checked so many boxes in that hockey game against the New York Islanders. And you're like, giddy up, right? They got their kick in the pants. Things are going to get going. And then they fall flat on their face against Colorado, blow another 2-0 lead. Mm-hmm. Don't get some bounces in that hockey game, but we're not even close to being the better team. Monday, season-defining road trip was the theme of the show yesterday. You're getting LA, Anaheim, San Jose, and Vegas. And guess what? If you get hot and rattle off 7 or 8 points, we're not talking about a 50-50 chance at the playoffs. We're talking about a team who maybe at 70%, 75%. You control your own fate to more of a degree. And then you do that and just look largely disinterested for 40 minutes in that hockey game or 30 minutes in that hockey game. Can't stay out of the box. I mean, you could have thrown me, you, Gavin, and Aaron out there on a power play for the Kings. We probably would have scored. Penalty kill was brutal. Everything was brutal. And a lot of some things outside of their control that were brutal as well in that hockey game. And I think it goes to show that this team is just fighting it right now. Fighting in a few ways, which was fine to see. But even within that hockey game, you get the fight from Puljujarvi and then a real good shift after it. And you're like, okay, they're starting to find their groove a little bit here. And then it's just a brutal goal. Okay. Even earlier in the game, you make it 2-1. You're like, here we go. They're starting to play some good hockey. Take a dumb penalty. Penalty kill can't save you. Boom. Momentum. You're flatlined again. There's just so many times where it feels like both in game, both over the last 12 days, they're building. And you're like, they're back. Here we go. And then they just go right off the cliff. And I don't get it. I cannot even begin to understand their lack of ability to string positives together. It just feels like it's an ego. Couple good things happen and they're like, boo, it's easy.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you, Tyler.
It is.
It's the hope that kills you. And hope will never die, that's for sure.
Yep.
But it still kills you. So yeah, like they just keep getting humbled massively, and it's in such disappointing ways. And last night, it even felt like when they were doing stuff right with that Jack Campbell save, like it comes back and bites you in the ass, and it turns out to be a goal. And it's just, yeah, like you said, and it's so bad right now in every aspect, but also the effort for me isn't always there too, and that's something that needs to change massively. Like there needs to be some desperation shown, and like you saw that goal McDavid scored, like that for me, like he can turn up at any moment in the game, but we didn't see it enough last night. And I get it, like LA is a very good defensive team, and they can kind of turn it around pretty well and like control the game. Like Philip Deneau is obviously fantastic, and he shut him down a little bit, but like also, come on, guys, you're the best. You're the best. Some of the best players in the world. Like, why? How is the power play going 0-6? Like, someone's got to figure it out here.
Yeah, we are live on the Nation Network YouTube, where we've already racked up 25 likes, Liam. The chat is nice and fired up, so sound off. Hit up that YouTube chat and hit the like button as well. We've set a like goal for today, which we haven't done in a few shows. We're looking to get some positive momentum going back ourselves. What do you got?
Yeah, and this is something outside of hockey that's very positive. Stuart Skinner is going to become a dad pretty quick here.
Yeah.
So let's get some likes for Stu. He's been out of rock all season long. The Oilers screwed him again last night, getting him pulled for the second star in a row. So today's like goal is 74. So let's get it up there. What are we at right now? You said, Tyler, around 25, I think it is?
Yep, something like that.
29 now. So let's keep those flowing. Let's try and have some positive conversation, but also let's sound off a little bit. Tell us what you're thinking about this team right now. Tell us about the game, and then we'll talk about stuff that may be happening too. I think that's a good way to order it.
Yeah. 100%. Let's get into our three big things from last night's hockey game, because there is a lot that I want to break down. As always, this is brought to you by Montana's. Liam, you saw where I went for dinner last night.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
Look good.
So the wings there, they're like crispy, and that's what I like about them. Like the breading on them is unbelievable. Also, I got this cheesy garlic pull-apart bread that was great. And all of it, beer, pull-apart bread, 2 orders of wings, $30. Can't beat that.
That is great value.
Their daily deals are fantastic. So shout out to our friends at Montana's. If you want to see more about the daily deals, head to montanas.ca. Number one, some of you are going to roll your eyes at this. Very on brand for me, not officiating. Not officiated well from a bunch of angles. We were talking like some weird offside calls in that game where the ref was like, or the linesman, I should say, is like 6 feet off the blue line and just blowing it dead when it's not offside. And there's some debate in the chat about that too many men call, but we can go through a bunch. Early in the first period, discipline was their issue. Barry hooking, Hyman tripping, Yamo slashing, penalty. All of them. Agree. You got to stay out of the box. Second period, that too many men on the ice call is bad.
Yeah. Brutal.
If that's a penalty, every line change that you have is a penalty, more or less. Some people were saying, well, Bouchard's already in the play and the rule is being in the play. That is such a vague way to put it. I thought that was a terrible call, and it turned the game around. Nurse slashing Fiala, dumb penalty. Hyman hooking Dursey. I thought that was a puck battle. What they made of the fighting situation with Deneau and Puljujarvi. Okay, so they called Puljujarvi on interference, which I didn't fully agree with. Deneau then gets a roughing when he should have gotten an instigator. Puljujarvi was not looking for a fight. Deneau dropped him, went at him. That's an instigator. He's taking up for an extra 2 for LA. It wasn't. They decide to just not give LA the penalty, so they make up the call on Puljujarvi because the arm didn't go up. When Puljujarvi hit him, the arm didn't go up. It was after the fight that they go, evening it up.
I don't think I've ever seen a player getting rough in penalty on a fight in major. Like, aren't they the same? Isn't fighting just roughing more?
So what are you saying? Yeah, like he pushed him before the fight? Like, again, it just felt like they were making stuff up for the most part.
Yeah, like for me, I don't even think there should have been penalties on either side. Like it should have just been a fight. Like the instigated penalty for me is so vague as well. Like 2 guys fought. They both fought. They both dropped the gloves. Now, if Puljujarvi's getting there, just getting his face loaded in while his gloves are on, obviously. But that's not what happened. It was a fair fight, and they both agreed to it. That shouldn't have been a penalty. I have a question, though, Tyler. So, Nurse's penalty was on the Michigan attempt, right? That was the one?
Yeah.
So, the Michigan for me is, I love it. Like, I love the fact that players are trying to do that stuff. But we saw this in the World Juniors, and this is kind of where it started the conversation for me. Like, Connor Bedard blatantly hit the goalie in the head.
Oh, yeah.
What, like,
what's the note on the player?
Yeah, shouldn't it be like, and like the last night's a bad example because the stick didn't come high enough, but like Campbell saw that play the whole time.
Yeah.
So if he comes around and whacks him right across the chest, is that not a slash?
I think it's a follow through though. It's a follow through on a shot.
But also it just seems, I don't know. It's an interesting play. But that's a little rant I
had. Evan Bouchard, that interference call against Mikey Anderson was borderline. I felt like Bouchard had the puck when contact was first made. He had the puck. So I'm just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't love the officiating, but here's the bottom line, Liam. Their penalty kill, 4 goals on 7 attempts. That is putrid. I'm not smart enough to come up with other words to it. Like, that cannot happen at the level. If their penalty kill was just like normal bad in that hockey game, if they didn't and gave up 2 goal attempts, then their penalty kill would have been like 71% on the game. Yes, I did that math beforehand, not off the top of my head. If their penalty kill gave up 2 goals on 7 attempts, then we'd be sitting there talking about, hey, game went to overtime, right? It was 3-3 heading down the stretch. And even that wasn't. So just the penalty kill was absolutely terrible in that game. That and the officiating is my one big thing. I mean, I didn't love the decision to go to Jack Campbell personally. He ended up being fine-ish, I guess. He got a terrible on that play where he makes the big save. I don't know. I didn't think like that should have been a goal either. I don't know if there was definitive proof in the replay. I know we're having a bit of stream issues now as well. So we're working on that behind the scenes. I think it's Wi-Fi down in our building. But anyways, I thought it was, I don't know. I felt like the review wasn't very good. I don't think you can definitively say that puck went in. So poor Jack Campbell is my second big thing.
Puck went over the line, and there was no evidence to prove that puck went over the line. For me, it was just a straight up blur.
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to call that as a goal when you can't see? Like, we saw this at the World Cup where they literally have a chip in the ball. Can you not put a chip in the puck to say like, yeah, this went over the line? It seemed like such an obvious thing.
Yeah, I didn't love that. I felt like that was the reviews usually go, but whatever. Third one was a lack of urgency. The power play attempt for the Oilers was pathetic. You're 0 for 5 on the game. Your power play has been largely lifeless for the bulk of the 60 minutes, but you're down goals. You have a chance to make it a 1-goal game with 4.5 minutes to go. And that top unit, lazy, inspired, a handful of words to describe that as well. And to see them with 40 seconds to go, just kind of lazily go off the. It's like, man, we don't see that from that top unit very often. Usually when the game's on the line and they have a chance, they're out there for the full 2 minutes. They are not even like thinking of looking at the bench. They're dialed in on trying to score. And last night, it just felt like they got that power play and they gave up. And that was super frustrating for me. So those are my 3 big things brought to you by Montana's. None of that was good. A bad hockey game for the Oilers. The officiating was bad. That drove me nuts. The penalty sucked. They were lifeless, even though they had 3 fights. There's just so much in that hockey game that drove me absolutely crazy. But we do have a guest joining us today on the show, so I want to get into that. Our guest line, as always, brought to you by our new friends at Star Mechanical, one of Edmonton's top new home plumbing installers for the past 20 years. They got a crew, highly qualified, over 50 plumbers and gas fitters, 35 of which are Red Seal journeymen. Overall, their staff have a combined 400 years of experience. StarMechanical.ca is where you want to go to get more info. Let's bring in Bruce Curlock, who writes about the Condors and other things for us at Oilersnation.com. Always a pleasure to welcome you into the show, Bruce. And I want to go through a few things you tweeted out last night. But first, what was your overall thought on that game? Were you as frustrated watching that all happen as a bunch of Oilers fans were?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so to some degree. I actually, to be honest with you, I thought Jake Woodcroft summarized it pretty well. When are you going to go 0 for 6 on the power play, and when are you going to give up what I believe on the PK? A bit fluky, but at the same time, I mean, this is a division rival that you absolutely need to beat. You got to make up ground, and they didn't. So, I guess frustrated, but maybe there's a little more positive in that than a 6-3. What was it? 6-3 score would dictate.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fair too. I think morning after a loss against a division opponent and everything else is just a little bit raw. But you're right, there were some fluky moments in that hockey game. You had a bunch of clips that you threw out on your Twitter yesterday. So I kind of want to go through them all because the first two were about the blue line. Number one was about the pairing of 86 and 2, Broberg and Bouchard. We'll throw up the clip here so the listeners can get a peek at it. But overall, kind of why did this play stand out to you, and what have you thought about them as a duo?
So as the tweet says, I really like them as a pairing. I think they match well. I think you have a player in Broberg who can skate the puck out. I think he gets a bad rap a little bit about his passing, but nevertheless, his strength for sure is skating the puck out. And then you have Evan Bouchard, who is an incredibly sublime passer, and a passer I would actually argue surprises his own forward teammates a lot. And in any event, so you've got a pair who can exit the zone in a multiple of ways, which is critical in today's NHL game. They seem to complement each other quite well. The play itself, I just think this is 2023, I guess, NHL hockey. This is how you exit your zone when you're on a puck retrieval. It's little short passes in control, in space, and you maintain possession, and now you're attacking up the ice. And the Oilers just don't do that enough. And this pairing seems to do it pretty well. There was another couple of plays actually in the second period where I think Evan Bouchard caught Leon Draisaitl. Again, another little back pass from Broberg to Bouchard. And I think Bouchard caught Leon Draisaitl unaware, and the puck bounced off his stick. Bouchard got it back, and then he hit, I think it was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at the blue line, who also fumbled the puck. But, this is how you exit. And, especially if you're trying to immediately turn the puck over onto the attack, which, say what you want about trying to make this team a cycle, half-court, grinded out team. This is a counterattack team, first and foremost. Yes, they should cycle the puck as well, but man, if you can exit with speed and space like this play here, it's a huge difference.
For me, and a lot of people, and I'm in this camp too, hey, you need to go get a good shutdown D-man, but there are defensemen who get you out of trouble when you're hemmed in and you need some physical and break up a cycle. There's value in that. But then there's D-men who keep you out of trouble. And for me, that's the Broberg-Bouchard pairing is, man, they're not going to get hemmed in very often because of plays like you posted there where, hey, it's zip, zip out of the zone, keep you out of trouble. That's kind of the way I sum it up.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I listen to the debate all the time about, what do we trade for? And in terms of defensemen, I mean, the best way to defend is not to have to defend. And, I just think there's lots of opportunity with the skill on this team. This forward group, when healthy, is incredibly skilled. Even through to their, 10th and 11th forwards, which is probably all they should be playing. I would try to, I'd be trying to match, that with the defense group. And again, now I've changed my mind on this a little bit because I was at the start of the year saying this defense core is similar in terms of their inability. They're passers, they move the puck, they're a little softer on defense, they have a little trouble with the cycle. Now I'm looking at it and thinking that maybe the best way to avoid the cycle is never get into it in the first place.
Yeah. That's the third pairing for the Oilers. The top pairing for the Oilers over the last bit has been Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci. And it feels like the rough moments for them are happening a little bit more the more they're being used. You had a second tweet up about this pairing. You described them as cooked. Kind of what's led you to that conclusion?
This is sort of your last 3 or 4 games where you can see. When I talk about cooked, I just simply mean that they're done as a pair in terms of their ability to collaborate together, or the ability to be cohesive. This clip I thought was really, it was 30 seconds of a perfect example of that. You have Nurse, who I still proclaim is hurt. I'm not sold at all that he's not hurt, but gets beat. Coasts back, coasts to the front of the net. Cece's standing off to the side of the net. He's not reading what Nurse is doing. Like, they're just not cohesive as a partnership right now. And I said in the tweet, I think they need a break from each other, and that it doesn't mean that they're bad players, for Pete's sakes. Like, I get this comment. I'll get people. I tweet this out, and I get people take runs at Cece. People take runs at Nurse. You know what? They're good players. They're good NHL defensemen. Are they great NHL defensemen? Probably not. But they're good. It's just, I think they need a break from there. I think they need, different partners. And I appreciate that presents some challenges given what we have. But it sure looks to me like they need just a breath of fresh air.
And it feels like maybe the coaching staff is recognizing that as well when you look at the call-up of Vinny Desharnais. And that's the point I was trying to make there, because they still are playing Nurse and Cece together a ton. But with Desharnais up, it's 11-7 potentially, with the right side having the extra piece. So do you think we could maybe see a change? And we don't need to get into Desharnais yet, because there's one more clip I want to watch. But do you think we could see a change of that 11-7 with the right side is going to break them up?
I have said, actually, I appreciate that people have a lot of strong views side of this defense. I actually think it's the right side that needs the change, not the left side. I'm pretty comfortable with the left side, and I think that if you bring Desharnais up, it gives you a chance to rest Cece, take him off of the PK as an example. Maybe Barry spends less time on the PK, even if it's 3 or 4 minutes a night. Like, I appreciate that people don't think that's very much, but those are hard minutes on defensemen. Like, PK minutes are hard on defensemen. So. Here's hope.
And their penalty kill can't get worse than it was last night. So, right, why not? The third one here, and just your line on this one.
Just to be clear, I'd pick on the forwards a little bit more last night on the PK than on the defense. But anyways,
and I want to talk about that a little bit too. But this next tweet does have something to do with the forwards. We spend a couple of minutes here dissecting the D-men, but this line, maybe the Oilers hate their defensemen. What drives you the craziest when you watch this play?
Just it's a full control face-off win, and I appreciate it came off an icing call. But I mean, if I had have extended the clip, what happened was he flips it out. It comes right to, I believe, Doughty, and they turn it over, and they're back in the zone for a shot on net, like, fast. And I just think that. I understand the set play. I understand that, they use it all the time. And I understand the concept of, okay, let's just get it out and get a change. But I mean, why when you win a faceoff and you have full possession, why you don't take that puck into a better spot and have your forwards in much more short support style of lanes where, it's a little touch pass, a little short pass, and it allows that forward to skate it out. And as they're skating it out, the forwards can change and the defense can change. In this case, they're trying to change as the puck is being lobbed. And, why give up possession? I mean, the biggest change I would say from this team from last year when Woodcroft took over to this year is they are just so willing to give up possession of the puck. And I don't understand when they have control. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that change. I don't understand the mentality on that. And again, I go harken back to the forwards and how much skill there is on this team. I don't get that at all. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Last one I want to throw your way. We talked about Vinny Desharnais. He got recalled yesterday. I loved the kind of interview Gene had with him on the broadcast as well, where he talked about just soaking it all in. But you're a guy who watches a lot of Condors hockey, obviously write about them for our site. What can Oilers fans expect from big Vinny Desharnais?
Well, he's big. I mean, he is 6'7", 230 pounds, right? Let's get into the meat of it. I mean, his challenge is going to be lateral mobility and a little bit of passing, I think. It's not his fault he's 6'7", and unfortunately his feet are feet of a 6'7", which is what makes Zdeno Chara such a special player. But he's got a wingspan like crazy. He's physical. He's mean. He blocks shots like crazy. If you can put him in the right situation as a 7D, PKing, maybe defensive zone offs, there's a chance. Like, you're hoping for an 8 to 10 minute guy, 7 to 9 minute guy who can give your right side D a bit of a break, and not just a break in terms of less minutes, but a break in terms of the types of minutes. Like, that right side is not designed to kill penalties. It's just not. Kudos to, I've been really impressed with Tyson Barrie this year. But he's not built for that, and so that's what you get with Vinny. The challenge will be, as the puck goes east and west, can his footwork match what he had, the speed that's coming at him? And then a little bit, I would, some commentators, our friend Low Tide, he disagrees with me. They think he can pass pretty well. I'm not convinced of that, but I mean, again, as you just saw in the last clip, we're doing a lot of dumping it out anyway. So, maybe it makes sense, but certainly a defense first, defensive present, penalty killer, shot blocker, seems like it's what the doctor ordered, and it's just whether his footwork can stand up for 6, 8, 9, 10 minutes a night.
Yeah. Fair enough. Bruce, you make this show a lot smarter. We always appreciate your insight, man. Thanks for hopping on.
All right. Take care. Have a great day.
All right. Let's get to the wrap for today's show. Liam, well, we'll talk some betting in a second. I'm excited to see what a guy like Vinny Desharnais can do in the lineup here, but that will be saved for tomorrow's show. You guys are really fired up in the YouTube stream, so I want to get to some of your comments because I have not done that very often. And thanks for sticking with us through the stream issues as well. We appreciate that. Jake says, Oilers are in trouble. Let's put it that way. Yep, that's a very simple sentence to put it in. Talk about our friend Vinny. Can he back up his physicality? I think he can. Reed asked, can he be the new Russell with the shot blocking? Yeah, maybe. I'm not expecting him to turn around their season and be overly impactful, but I mean, it'll give them a bit of a different look. We haven't seen them with the 11-7 approach with 4 guys on the right side, and I think it might, like Bruce said, give some guys some much needed time off. Reed was asking who would be the backup. If Stuart Skinner is gone, it's going to be Calvin Pickard who will be backing them up for, I'm assuming, the next 2 games. I think we're going to get back-to-back Jack starts here. So a chance for Jack Campbell to put his stamp on this season. It's Anaheim and San Jose. These teams are not that good, but the Oilers like losing to not good hockey teams. So it'll still be a tough test, Liam.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe a lot more in Jack Campbell. I actually think he's come in and done a very good job the last few starts he's had. And even last night, too, to his credit, he played well. The goals that were allowed, one of them we already discussed. We're not even sure if it went in. And the second one was a one-on-one, which is just a disadvantage for a goalie anyway. So I believe in Jack. But to be honest, Tyler, this is going to sound weird to say, but I really think Wednesday is huge. It's gigantic. And it sounds weird because you're playing the Anaheim Ducks, but eventually you've got to start turning the season around. And quite frankly, it has to start yesterday.
Yeah.
And now here we are again. And it's just okay, boys, show up. You have to show up tomorrow. Then you have to show up on Friday. And then you have to show up on Saturday. And then just keep going. Just keep showing up. 41 wins in a row.
It's getting late early, Liam.
Yeah, it is.
They only have 40 games to go. And I don't want to alarm anyone, but I will. Let's do some math. 40 games to go. What would be a great record for the Oilers? 30-10?
That'd be awesome.
Okay. That only puts you at 105 points. So, I mean, that's probably enough to get you home ice advantage in round one again. 104 got you that last year. But if you want to be at 99 points, that means you can take 3 wins off that and you can go 27-13. They need to go 27-13 to make the playoffs. That is beyond difficult to do.
Yeah, and something's got to change immediately, whether it's a trade, but for now, it's just got to be the attitude. The attitude of the players is the biggest thing that needs to change. And it kind of leaves you a little bit speechless. And I know we've kind of all ranted about the Oilers a little bit here, but again, it's got to start tomorrow. It's got to start tomorrow.
Ray-Ban Man says, never tell me the math. And I mean, the Oilers can't look at the math. You can't sit there and be like, we got to win a lot of hockey games. You need to just go out there and game at a time. But I'm finding myself in the same spot I was in 2018 when this team missed. Kind of just going, they'll wake up, a 10-game heater will change it. They'll go 9-1. And then the math gets better, right? You go 9-1. All of a sudden you're like, we don't have to go 27-10 anymore. We need to go 18-10. And it's like, you can go 18-10.
Yeah.
But the fact you need a 9 or 10-game heater to even get to a point where it feels like this team has a realistic shot. I'm not saying plan vacations for the spring, but I think you can start firing up the websites a little bit. You can start seeing what's out there. You can give our friends at AMA Travel, just throw a little feeler their way and be like, where could I go in April and May?
Yeah, I'm sure AMA's got some great deals. I plan on being busy in the spring. I'm hoping to be busy with the Oilers at least. So maybe.
But what chance do you give them of making the playoffs, man? Right now I'm at like 30. 25. Everything is so stacked against them.
Last night was the first point for me where I've thought, well, maybe this isn't the year, which is such a crazy thing to say. But for me, and Captain Felton just said it, he's like, this is on the players now. And I agree. It's on the players now. It's on the players. They can only say so much when it's the same group kind of going through this stuff. And a lot of people have put blame on Holland, and we've spoke about it. But at the end of the day, there's so many guys underachieving on this team. Like, someone's got to turn it around. And last night, we got goals from Yamamoto and McLeod, and unfortunately, the power play went 0-6. So, I mean, like Woodcroft said, and Bruce noted there too, like, it's not going to happen every night. Hopefully, it was just an incredibly bad off night from what they've kind of been doing recently, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel like I said again, Wednesday's big. They got to show up big time. It's Anaheim Wednesday, right?
Anaheim Wednesday, Friday against San Jose. So 2 games. You can't go one and have a hope and have making the playoffs, man. Like, San Jose has 2 regulation wins in their last 10 games. 2 regulation wins in their last 10 games. They're pathetic. Anaheim has 12 wins on the season. They're pathetic. And the Oilers are going to treat them like pathetic teams, and the Oilers are probably going to play down to their level. I don't know why I should even sit here and give them the benefit of the doubt, because they should have beat Anaheim in December and didn't. I don't know, man. I'm kind of just at my wit's end with this group. Like, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. Last night when I was watching the game, I was very frustrated, just to the point where you're almost laughing at your TV. Like, I was just like continuing to go on, and there's a long way to go for this team if they want to be contenders like we all thought they were at the start of the season. I guess my question to you is it time for Holland to put the chips in, to do something, or do you think he's now going to back out a little bit, being like, well, this team isn't good enough, but also it's on him to make the team good enough?
Yeah, I said this today on DFO Live. I was hosting with Mike McKenna, and they're a fascinating team heading up to the deadline, because some people are like, blow it up. Steve just said sellers at the deadline now. You can't. No, if you're Ken Holland and you sell at the deadline, that's your resignation letter. That's you admitting you didn't build a good enough team and you're not going to be the GM anymore, in my opinion.
You should almost just quit.
Yeah. If you're going to sell at the deadline, step aside.
Yeah.
Let someone else buy. They can't. If Ken Holland is holding on to his first round pick at the deadline, it's a failure of grand magnitude. I don't even know if that sentence makes sense, but that's how I feel about it. You can't. You need to go in, get someone. Someone earlier threw out Bob Stauffer's trade proposal for Chychrun, and it was like 2 first-round picks, a second rounder, and whatever the money takes. As long as, sure, let's do it now. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm like, just go, get him, what's the word? You're not going to be worse this year. The future, F the future.
Honestly, screw it. It doesn't matter. Anything that matters is got to happen this season. Ken Holland might not be here in 2 years' time. Why does he care what those picks are? Now, I don't want him to go out there and trade all 7 picks for the next 5 drafts in a row.
Yeah.
But you got to be smart with it. And there's options out there. Like we spoke about it too with Frank. Like there's so many players available. And people, I get it. Like there has to be someone out there who wants to dance. Make him dance, Ken. Play something. Do something. Like you are an experienced GM. You should have been in this situation multiple times before. And that's why we brought him in, to get us through these moments. He is a winning general manager. He has had a ton of success in the NHL. He's been through it all. Now prove it. Like prove what you can do, Ken Holland, because it's time. The time is now. The time is arguably 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably.
But you've got to make a move before the ship completely sinks and it ain't coming back up.
100%. Reed says, need to go get your deadline guys now so they have more time to settle in with the group if they want to make a run. And I actually think this year, maybe, teams would be more open to it because they want Connor Bedard.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago wants Connor Bedard. Everyone wants Connor Bedard. So if you find a team and they're a seller, in past years, it's like, oh, you're paying a premium to get your rental now. I think it's almost an even wash where the Oilers could go to a team and be like, we want our rental now, and you want this guy to stop helping you somehow win hockey games, you know?
Yeah, and that's what they like. Surely, after watching the World Juniors, GMs are all thinking that, right? Thinking like, I got to get my hands on this kid, and I got to start losing games immediately. So yeah, like it's to go fishing. I know there's like numerous options. Do we have Frank on the show this week?
Yeah, we should have Frank on the show tomorrow, so we'll get to some of this with him. Yeah. But I mean, the panic alarm, panic bell, whatever you want to call it, is not going to stop ringing between now and Frank's hit. So we will have a lot to get to with our boy Frank Saravalli tomorrow on the show. Keaton says he hasn't traded a first since 2012. Does he still know how? I mean, he's gotta. There's no excuse right now. JHB, do we give up a first for Edmondson? I wouldn't do that. I don't think Edmondson is enough of an answer. If I'm going to get someone with term and I'm giving up a first, pony up, get Chychrun. You know?
Yeah.
My tone's kind of starting to change on that topic, but like, don't go halfway. Don't just dip your toe in the water if you're Ken Holland and say, I'll give up a first and a third for Gavrikov. Okay, no. Chychrun then.
Do you remember a couple of years ago, I'm sure this was a trade thing, but Columbus kind of went out there and splurged, right? On a trade deadline, and then they beat Tampa Bay in the first round. Didn't that happen? Or am I dreaming? Didn't they go out and get 2 guys?
Yeah.
Or they refused to sell or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. I forget.
I can't remember. Maybe that's a bad story to try and get to. But yeah, like Holland, just go out. Just go get the guys. It's obvious what this team needs. I understand they're in tight cap situations, but if you're not smart enough to be creative, then there's men around you who should be smart enough to help you out at least and figure something out. There's guys in that Oilers room upstairs, I guess, in the boardroom who can get this done. Like it's obvious now, and I'm sure they're out there looking. I am positive that is happening.
Tyler Mulick says, make the money work for Eriksson. Like Louis? Maybe Louis Eriksson is the answer. He's playing in Sweden. I think he probably meant Carlson. Stuart Skinner, not going to be with the team for the next 2 nights. It's Jack Campbell's crease. We'll get into all that tomorrow on the show. No Rusty today, and I feel bad that our guy Rusty isn't in the chat because we could all use a little bit of Rusty's optimism.
I don't know if it was there last night. He was down in the dumps last night, and if Rusty's down, then we should all feel down, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Peter King, have any of you guys actually watched Chychrun play? He is not what this team needs. I actually really like the conversation we had with Bruce, where there are D-men who get you out of trouble. There are D-men who keep you out of trouble. Jacob Chychrun He's not bad at getting you out of trouble. He keeps you out of a whole heck of a lot of trouble. If you are better in transition, if you are better in the neutral zone, if you're better at breaking pucks out, you spend way less time in your own end. Bad turnovers lead to extended cycles, and that's what's killing this team. So a lot of people are focused on how do you end the bad cycles. I'm focused on how do you get the puck out better and avoid the bad turnovers. Part of that's on the forwards. Like Bruce said, got to be getting to better spots, got to help your D-man out. But part of that is on people who are there.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Like I've said it before, like offense is best defense. If the other team doesn't have the puck, you don't have to play defense. It's quite a simple thing, really. And Jacob Chychrun is going to help prevent the other team from getting the puck and hopefully just steady the ship. I think that's a big thing the Oilers need. Like, to be honest, I don't think they need to go out there and find like 2 or 3 new defensemen. I think like maybe 2 defensemen would help, but like just calm everything down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like just bring some minutes down. Take the load off Nurse. Take the load off Cece. That's the biggest thing that needs to happen. And I think it'll all get addressed, hopefully. So yeah, I agree. Like just go all in on Chychrun. And I guess for the people who like don't want Chychrun, like where are you looking? Is Edmonton really going to make much of a difference? He's not a puck mover. Like, are we going to move everything for Ekholm and keep him for 4 more years? Like, that seems like a wrong thing too. And then there's also Jake McCabe stuff, I suppose, if that's part of the conversation still. But
yeah,
I have all your options. Like, Chychrun seems like the best one, and it doesn't seem close to me.
Apparently, Jake McCabe's no trade list is just all the Canadian teams. He's not an option. You can flash up Vlad Gavrikov if you want here, Aaron, but I don't.
If you're spending a first, don't spend it on him.
Yeah, right? Like if you're spending your first on forward help because you're convinced that building a better forward group helps you out in your own end, which I actually don't. That line of thinking, it adds up to me. I give up a second for Gavrikov. I give up Niemelainen and second Niemelainen and a third, something like that for Gavrikov. I'm not giving up the first for Gavrikov. I'm giving up a first for someone who I know 100% is impactful and is going to make a big, big difference. Gavrikov makes a difference, but not big enough for me to move the first.
Yeah, I think you just do the Curlock deal if you can with Gavrikov.
Yeah, sure.
Give him a guy who can probably play in AHL, NHL, Linen, second round pick, make it conditional, whatever you want to do. And I think it was a 7th round pick in there too, whatever it was. Like, that's the deal you got to do. That's the deal.
You're all fired up today in the chat. I love it. We need 7 more likes. So if you're watching on the Nation Network YouTube, hit that like button. It is very easy to do. Let's see if we can get to 74 in a couple of minutes here. Liam, you're back for tonight. Last night, Connor McDavid scored. That was good. Zach Hyman hit his shot prop. That was good. Not a lot of, nothing else really good happened. But should
these sports books, when you make a bet on Zach Hyman's shot prop, should you not just get the money automatically as soon as you make the bet?
Feels like it should just be like whoop, right into the account. Direct deposit, please.
Yeah, put it on. As soon as that man steps on the ice, it should be money in my bank. But I went with 2 home underdogs tonight.
I like that strategy.
The St. Louis Blues games. Now, St. Louis haven't been electric on home ice. I believe they're 8-7-2 or 7-8-2 or something. But Calgary are also just 500 on the road too. So for me, like, I'm putting my money in the basket of the St. Louis Blues. I believe they won 5 of the last 10 as well, just in general. So 135 for a team like the Blues, like sign me up. And also the Arizona Coyotes. I've had a lot of success betting on the Yotes this season. They're 7-4-2 at home at the Mullet Arena. Come on. I did not expect that when I looked at
San Jose's junk.
Yeah. And Arizona, they've got some skill on that team. So I went with the Yotes and the Blues tonight, 2 home dogs. Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, and if the Yotes win, I expect one of those tomorrow as well.
Oh, yeah.
For me tonight, I like. I had 2 bets on DFO Live, and I always blank on them when I come here. So, Nikita Kucherov shot prop. No value betting on the Bolts to win against the Blue Knight, but expect them to pepper them, get a lot of shots. Kucherov is a great bet to go over 3.5 shots on goal. The Winnipeg Jets are -130.
I saw that.
They're taking on Detroit. Winnipeg in their last 10 has won 5 in a row. Detroit has 3 wins in their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. And Andrew Patterson, hustler from Sports Talk Winnipeg, or Winnipeg Sports Talk, sorry. He was on DFO Live today, and he made an interesting point. If the Jets win tonight, that'll make Rick Bowness the head coach for the All-Star game.
Oh,
you don't think they want to play for Bones, guy that's turned them around totally?
Yeah.
So minus 130 with everything the Jets are playing for, how good they look, and the Wings have only won 9 of their 20 home games this year. It's a lock, folks. Take the puck line if you want.
I love the
Bet it all.
I really enjoy watching the Jets when they're at full strength. And then they've got a lot of fun players like Kyle Connor and Nick Ehlers. Josh Morris is a lot of fun. So yeah, to kind of see Rick Bowness turn them around, I think is good for the market and just good for the league in general.
We hit our like goal. Good job, Liam. Good job, YouTube chat. You guys brought it. I love it. This was a passionate show. You were all fired up. And tomorrow we're going to have Frank on to talk about trade targets. Jay is going to be sitting here. You know he's going to be fired up about the game against LA. We are going to breathe some positivity into this thing. The Oilers got to go on a run. They are quickly running out of time. Later this week, we're also going to have some special shows and a ton of special content coming to you from Las Vegas. Our friends at AMA Travel sending us down on another fantastic nation vacation. Head to nationgear.ca. You can check out the Toronto trip there as well. Bruce Curlock was fantastic today. His appearance brought to you by Star Mechanical, starmechanical.ca. If you need to find out more, they are everything you need. If you have plumbing or gas fitting needs, whatever it is, Star Mechanical has got you covered. Tomorrow's a Short Ford Giant game day from the Sports Closet studio, so we have a lot to get into then, and we will chat with you then. Enjoy your Tuesday night, everybody.